Hello and welcome back to Blues Armory, where today we're talking about Galaxy's Edge. I don't know if you can see on the back, it's blue and green milk. Let's go. So today I wanted to do something a little bit differently, and I want to talk about one of my favourite places in the world, Galaxy's Edge, hence the wonderful blue and green milk t-shirt, which you can find, like most of the t-shirts I wear in my videos, from Only Hope Supply, because they're amazing and I love their shirts so much. Please send me a free shirt, I love them. Cut that out. Anyway, I want to talk about Galaxy's Edge because I think that some people don't understand how I think you should enjoy Galaxy's Edge. And I know that's a weird thing to say to people of, you need to do it like this, otherwise you won't enjoy it. So when Galaxy's Edge opened back in 2019, I think a lot of people were disappointed, although it was like an incredibly immersive land. It only opened with one ride, which I think the ride's pretty good, but people don't like it. But I think it being stuck in the sequel trilogy and it just, some people seeing it as there not being a lot to do, lots of people were disappointed. Now, looking at it from afar, as a Star Wars fan, I thought it was the greatest thing ever to exist, and I couldn't wait to go. Around the time when Galaxy's Edge opened, I discovered a channel on YouTube called Always Believe, who are one of my favorite YouTube channels in the world, and that sort of introduced me and opened up my eyes to the world of Disney bounding, or as we like to call it in Galaxy's Edge, Batuu bounding. Now, as an avid costumer and cosplayer, it's amazing that I'd never heard of this. It's basically the idea with Disney bounding that you're dressing up in the style of a character, because obviously you can't dress up as a character because you don't want to confuse the little people running around. In Batuu, there's a different way of doing it. So Batuu bounding is kind of creating your own character to live within the Star Wars universe. Batuu is a small outer rim trading post. So you're creating characters that live inside of this world. And it goes with this, I did a video probably a couple months ago on creating a galactic denizen, and it's this idea that you just create, you're not Luke Skywalker, you're not the Mandalorian, you're not Darth Vader. You are a character that just exists in Star Wars, and I think that is super fun. So I learned a bit about this through Ash and Bryan on Always Believe. They were talking about how they create characters or create looks that are acceptable to wear at the Disney parks and allow them to just take part in this. Now, Galaxy's Edge is an immersive land, we'll call it. The cast members are never going to drop out of character. All the things that are going on are going to be like within the Star Wars universe. Some people find that really off-putting. Now, over time, there's a dog down here. Over time watching Ash and Bryan, I sort of changed my view on how you should enjoy Galaxy's Edge. They go in with the idea that you just have to get involved and immerse yourself with the things going on. So when I went to Galaxy's Edge in 2021 for the first time, I found it a bit weird because obviously you're at a theme park, but you know, everyone is in character for Star Wars. And then I carried on watching Always Believe and a couple other people that do this sort of thing. And they just get into character, be silly, have fun, and most importantly, play. Galaxy's Edge is at its most fun when you play along. So when I went back in 2024, a couple of months ago, I decided just to lean into it, and it became the most fun experience I think I've ever had in my life. If you just switch off your brain and look, I dress up as Star Wars characters. I'm okay with being a bit silly. I'm like almost 30 and I dress up as a TIE pilot or a Mandalorian. I can be silly, that's ridiculous. So I decided to just lean into it, interact with the characters, interact with the cast members, use the greetings, bright suns, it's just fun to say, rising moons, and it just made it from like a land that I love as a Star Wars fan, obviously, to just like one of the best park Star Wars experiences I've ever had. I had run-ins with the Mandalorian himself. I had run-ins with Imperial officers who were asking me about my jacket because I was wearing my Star Wars patch jacket.
Yes, indeed. They are likely to do that once in a while.
That's why I don't like them.
No, me neither. There's a story for each of these. What is your favorite one? There's a correct answer.
Thank you for your allegiance.
Indeed. Next time I see you, I do not want to see your cars. Right?
Cover those up.
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
I had run-ins with Vi Moradi, I had run-ins with Ray, and I just left the park. I'm really happy thinking about it now. I left the park with the biggest smile on my face. I think there's two big ones that I want to talk about that you just kind of have to let yourself into it and have a good time. One, I was being interrogated by an Imperial officer, and you just play along, and he wondered what I was doing, and I said, well, I'm actually a spy in the Resistance for the First Order. And then they play back to you. And I think these experiences are so much more fun when you can interact with the cast members. Michael also from Rex and Around, who doesn't really do social, bring back the podcast. Bring back Rex and Around, please, I need it in my life. He's got some great things of interacting with the stormtroopers and everything, and it's just fun. It can be a bit awkward at first, and you do find yourself, like, when I met the Mandalorian, I was genuinely, like, intimidated.
You look a little nervous. You on the run?
Yes.
Well, either you're very confident or you haven't thought this through. Okay, you're all right. I see you believe in something. Excellent. This is the way. We're moving on, Grogu.
Hi, Grogu. Love you.
But once I got into it, like, you get more comfortable with it, and the cast members that are these characters, it's their job to, like, keep it going. But the second time I had a proper, like, awesome character interaction is the Imperial officers and the stormtroopers were outside of Doc Ondar's. I went into Doc Ondar's, and as I turned the corner in Doc Ondar's, Ray was there. Now, I don't care what anyone else says about Ray. I like Ray. I think she's cool. So I bump into Ray, and I explained that I was a spy because I had an Imperial patch on. I was like, I'm actually a spy in the First Order for the Resistance. So she said, can you go outside and distract them? And I just sat there thinking, like, yes, Ray, I can do that. So I went outside to the Imperial officer who I'd met earlier in the day, and I said, I just saw her. She ran down there and round the corner. And he goes, oh, okay. It takes the troopers and they run away. I go back inside to tell Ray that I've done my mission. And she goes, that's amazing. Come with me. And we run around a little corner being really sneaky, and it sounds childish, but as a Star Wars fan, I felt like I was doing a Star Wars. It was amazing. And then we run around the corner, and she was like, do you want to take a picture of your holo scan or whatever they call it? And we took a picture together, and in fact, I just bought this, which is not the best thing to be carrying around when you are meeting Resistance characters, because it's friggin' Darth Vader's lightsaber. So she's like, do you want to use your lightsaber? And I was like, no, I feel really bad taking a picture with Darth Vader's lightsaber next to Rey. But she insisted, so I did. And I look like an absolute dork because I was having the best time ever standing next to Rey with a lightsaber. And again, it sounds ridiculous, but as someone that is just a massive Star Wars fan and just doesn't mind being a bit silly, it was the most fun just experience I've ever done. I was just like, had a massive grin for the rest of the evening on my face. And even Jess was like, that was pretty cool. So look, those are the experiences that I will never ever forget from Galaxy's Edge. And you don't necessarily have to dress up to do this. Like, we went one day to Galaxy's Edge, and I literally just had this shirt on because I love this shirt, and I have a Star Wars patch jacket, so just normal clothing. And most of my interactions and experiences happened when I was just wearing normal clothing. When I went back in a Batu bound, we didn't have that many run-ins or experiences with the cast and crew. It was raining quite a lot, and I think I wore my Batu band for like an hour in the rain, and I was like, okay, I'm getting changed. But you can take some wonderful photos. There's some on my Instagram. I'll put some here for you. It's fun to build the costume. It's fun to play around. And I think lots of people that may have been disappointed, and I understand if you're not a big Star Wars fan, and you were just expecting a land with some rides and stuff like that, then yeah, you know, I don't know how to help you. But if you are a massive Star Wars fan and you were feeling a little bit disappointed by Galaxy's Edge, I genuinely give it a go. Just go, be your inner child, have a little bit of fun. The world kind of sucks now, so to be able to go into a place, switch off from the outside world, and just play like a little bit of Star Wars, exactly like you would have done. Like, how many people were outside in their gardens with like a mop handle and a broom, reenacting, you know, Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan or Luke versus Darth Vader? Because I know that's what I did as a kid. Me and my brother used to go outside and hit each other with sticks. Actually, I had a flick out Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber. But I remember going to see the prequels, and that's the first thing we wanted to do in the garden, was go and reenact these fights. So I don't understand why more people don't want. Just go back to being a child. Have fun, run around, be in Star Wars. This is the closest thing you get to being in Star Wars. I know it's a fictional universe, but do you know what? Sometimes it just takes like little things like that just to brighten your day, make yourself a little bit happier, and just switch off from the outside world. While this video got a little bit too deep when I'm talking about pissing about like a Star Wars character at a theme park, but I genuinely think that if more people just, you know, dove headfirst into it, then they would have an incredible time. Look, say what you want about the rides at Galaxy's Edge. I personally love them, because even sitting at the back of the Millennium Falcon and just switching all the buttons, absolutely adore that. But I understand the rides are either disappointing or, in the case of Rise of Resistance, never working. But I love them both. But honestly, and even Jess, who is not as big a Star Wars fan as I am, said the best times we had at Disney's Hollywood Studios was just wandering around Galaxy's Edge and just like living in this universe. And I think it's one of the nicest things you can do, and I think it will just, if you just get into it, it will bring you so much joy. So there's a massive thanks to Always Believe. Please go check them out if you haven't already. They are very popular YouTubers. But they are really pushing this, get out there, be a kid, enjoy, play in Galaxy's Edge. So I think that is it for my rant on Galaxy's Edge. I'm not actually sure how long I've just ranted for. I'm not sure if any of it makes sense, but I just felt like I see a lot of negativity around Galaxy's Edge, and personally, I think it's one of the most fun places you can go as a Star Wars fan. So next time, if you're going to Galaxy's Edge, you don't need to dress up, but just let go of a little bit of just awkwardness and wanting not to be silly, and just be silly and have fun, because I promise you, you will have a wonderful time because of it. And if you don't, come back and shout at me. I don't mind. Tell me I was wrong, but I'm putting money on whether we can get across that, and then you will have a great time. You come back and you say, wow, thanks, I had a great time. Because, you know, why not? Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. That'll do it for today's video. As always, if you like my wonderful shirts, you can go to Only Hope Supply and get yourself a blue and green milk shirt, because they're great. Thank you very much for watching. There's some very interesting things coming up soon, maybe in the next couple of weeks. I say this often, but like there's genuinely a package coming that's quite exciting. So look out for that on Instagram and YouTube. So go follow me on the rest of my socials, and that'll do it. I will see you on the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Happy crafting. See you next time.